We're going to get started momentarily, so as you're walking in, please make sure you're coming in. Please come in quickly. All right. Please find a seat quickly. Let's get started. Sophomores, welcome. Welcome to our annual MLK Sophomore Speech Celebration. 10th graders, this is a rite of passage. Can I get, Jubilee, can I get a little window just so they can see me? Thank you. This is a rite of passage for you 10th graders. So families, teachers, can we all give a round of applause to all of our 10th graders? This way you can see me. This is an amazing event. This is our first time doing it in this format where we have several speakers. They are all being recognized. Everyone who is sitting here is being recognized for their outstanding achievement. We are excited to have you here. And if we can please make sure we find a seat very quickly so we can get started. Group over here to the left. Come on down. All right, so we want to make sure everyone is seated. So as we are doing it, please, we are going to begin with an amazing performance from our own Jubilee. Give it up for Jubilee. Before we get started, students, I want to just remind you how much of an honor this is to have this kind of event, recognizing the life of Dr. King and also your accomplishments in this work. And so being respectful to all of your classmates as they go through this is really important. Before I introduce Mr. Capilupo, I want to just recognize all of our English department teachers. Thank you so much for your hard work. If we can give them a round of applause for all their work. A special thanks to Ms. Dilworth, who has put in a lot of time and effort, as well as the English department staff for their support. So first up is Mr. Capilupo.
Thank you, Principal Turner. I just want to reiterate a couple of the things that Principal Turner said. This is an awesome event, and the best part about it is we're all doing it together. So whether or not you're on the stage or whether your stage was your classroom and you put yourself in a position where you were at risk, you took a healthy risk with the support of your teachers, you worked hard. We've heard all the anecdotes, we've heard from teachers and just how proud they are of all the different things that students accomplished over the course of this unit in the last couple months. It's really one of the great things we do as a Newton North community in this recognition. So we're really proud of all of you for everything that you've done, and can't wait to hear from everybody today. I did also want to repeat, we want to make sure we're being respectful of our peers up here. We're going to ask that cell phones are put away and that we're not talking during the performance. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.
Chair of the English department, and I want to welcome everybody coming today to our showcase and celebration of our sophomores who have taken the time and taken the risk to write these sophomore speeches. I wanted to sort of introduce a little bit about sort of our process and sort of what brings us here today. So you all know by now Martin Luther King Jr.'s powerful "I Have a Dream" speech. And in that, he dared to dream for a better America. And through this famous speech, he inspired others to act rather than wait and cool off, or just simply dream about change. But what you may not know about this iconic speech and repeated words, "I have a dream," is that they almost didn't make it into his speech. Dr. King was advised against using these words because his confidants felt, well, maybe they're too simple. However, when King arrived in Washington and looked out into the crowd, he listened to his gut and followed his instinct. And now, thanks to his judgment and confidence, those words guide us in our never-ending search for a better America. Today, we are here to honor King's tenacity, courage, and willingness to give voice to his beliefs. And I'm sure all of you sophomores who are sitting here today know by now that no one is really born as a powerful speaker. It takes practice, a lot of it, and it takes courage. Over these last weeks, you've had to dig deep and find the courage to speak up and speak out. You not only worked on your presence, your articulation, and your voice, but you also dared to say something that matters and to compel us to pay attention. Congratulations, sophomores. We believe in your words, we believe in your dreams for a better America, and we believe you are the necessary catalyst for our positive change. Before we begin, I would just like to thank a few more people who helped make today possible. Please save your applause until the end. Tim Keefe and the amazing Newton North custodians, Adam Brown and Michael Barrington-Haber, Todd Young and Sheldon Reed, and of course our Jubilee singers and Surya, who welcomed us with the jazz piano. Our administrative assistant, Lauren Newfer, and assistant DH, Danny Johnson, Principal Turner, Vice Principal Amy Winston, and Nick Capilupo. And once again, I also want to extend our extreme thanks to the dedication of our sophomore English teachers. Thank you for all that you do. note about today's speeches. You all perhaps remember giving your speeches in front of your class and how nerve-wracking that was in your own classroom setting of about 24 students. Imagine what this is like now, because we are upping the ante in very real time for these speakers in front of you today. Please understand they've had limited practice, and this is a very different venue once we're sitting up here or standing up here on the stage and we have these lights glaring and looking out into the audience of all of their entire class. So I would like us to make sure that we're giving them our love and support and bolster their courage to come on stage to find the power of their voices. So to do so, they need your positive energy and your love and support. So everybody, are we ready to hear these speeches? All right. So without further ado, I want to let you know the format of today. We're going to be hearing our 7 showcase speeches, and then we're going to hear from all of the class representatives who will share a little snapshot of their speeches. And these students sitting here today are obviously worthy of our celebration, as are all of you, because you started this process perhaps feeling unsure, scared, even maybe angry, and you've persevered, come out on the other side, and managed to not only say something that you believed in, but also have the courage to do so in front of your peers. So thank you, everybody. Congratulations on your... So first up, I would like to introduce Julia Dunn-Rappaport with her speech, Don't Demonize Drag.
Bullets tear through the crowd like lethal raindrops, the gunman's face etched with indescribable hate. A veteran rises from the mass of terror and anguish to subdue the attacker. Later, he explained, I was protecting what I fought for. So, what is both so sacred and so incendiary that it motivated a gunman's attack and a veteran's protection? It's just a drag show at a Colorado gay bar called Club Q. Discrimination against effeminate men takes on many forms, ranging from tweeting, "Bring back manly men" after Harry Styles wore a dress, to bringing an assault rifle to a drag show. According to the Pew Research Center, a solid majority of Republicans believe society looks up to masculine men, and they consider this to be a positive thing. In idealizing masculinity, femininity is demeaned. Because drag embraces male femininity, it is terrifying to people who benefit from the inequities of traditional gender roles. As New York Times opinion columnist Michelle Goldberg wrote, when one is accustomed to privilege, equality feels like oppression. Drag isn't just demonized, it's sexualized. Queer writer Rory Porter said, sexual forms of drag performance are largely limited to clubs, where children are obviously not present. Drag is not always or deeply sexual, so why is it mischaracterized in this way? We need to unpack this. Whether it is the wigs, makeup, padding to mimic an exaggerated female form, or even use of the word queen, drag is a display of unarguable femininity. Our culture often falsely equates being feminine with being sexual, and the sexualization of drag is an extension of this misogynistic belief. I'm just gonna saunter over the podium. As drag becomes more mainstream, the shadows of discrimination and hate linger in its footsteps. This hate isn't born from evil, but from the dangerous fog of ignorance. To stop it, we must educate ourselves. To facilitate that learning, we need to fracture it into feasible fragments. Understanding and respect will serve as our needle and thread as we sew the quilt of progress. Understand and respect that queens may use different pronouns in and out of drag. Understand and respect the drag slang embedded
I just want to remind everybody that we would request that you're not recording today's speeches without permission from speakers, so thank you. Next up, we have Gabe with his speech.
How did you get here? It's a simple question, but I'd like you to give it more thought. I'd like you to think before your childhood, going even further than before your parents were born. We all have a story about our path to the present. Do you know yours? What does it mean to you? And most important to this moment, who told you? Today, I would like to tell you one of mine. This is the story of a man who death could not catch up to, my great-grandfather. Berko Kolodner had 8 siblings. He had carved out a life for himself as a doctor in Vilna, Lithuania. When the Nazis invaded Vilna, he lost everything. He was sent to a ghetto, which he survived. His wife was murdered in Auschwitz, and still he survived. He was sent to concentration camp, witnessing disease, destruction, and countless deaths. His story was recorded as one of hundreds of thousands at the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum. When asked why he was willing to relive the past for this interview, he answered, and I quote, "People should not forget. They should know because they are already forgetting. Now there are people saying that there was no Holocaust, that there was nothing, nothing, nothing." His lips trembled as he spoke, and there were tears hanging on the edges of his eyelids. He died a year after filming. He had just turned 90. More than 77 years have passed since the end of World War II, but I think everyone in this room knows why I am telling you his story today. Everyone here knows what creeps in the crevices and corners of our country. Everyone here has seen hatred held higher than hope. Everyone here has seen the swastikas. They have made their way into our schools, even as recently as a few months ago here in Newton North. In 2022 alone, the Anti-Defamation League reported 510 separate incidents of anti-Semitic vandalism, harassment, and assault in the United States. And of course, it is not just against Jews. In 2020, the FBI reported the highest number of reported hate crimes across all categories in over a decade. Have stories like my family's already lost their impact? I disagree. I believe that it is not too late to alter the path that we are on. I believe that the stories I speak of, our history, will never fade as long as we are willing to tell it. I believe that if you follow me in sharing your stories, we have a chance at combating the hate that lies outside of these walls. Consider your own. Ask those in your family who bore witness to the events that shaped their lives before it dies with them. Ask those in your community the same question that I ask you. How did you get here? If you and I begin that conversation, I promise you that it will not stop there. As is often said in Hebrew, Lador, Lador, from one generation to the next. Let all of us be the ones that carry the lessons from the past into the future. Thank you.
Our third speaker today is Jordy with Unfair Immigration Law.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jordy. Nice to meet you guys. Hi, Jordy. Hi, Tiago. Imagine this. You're a 4-year-old kid, and your whole life changes because of unfair immigration laws. I went to bed one night dreaming about the delicious pancakes my mom would be making me in the morning. But instead, I woke up to my dad being taken away. Having a parent taken away from you is never easy, especially when you have 2 siblings and a hard-working mother trying to provide for you. But now, you're without a father figure. My father was sent to jail unfairly by the police, which meant he was one step closer to being deported. Luckily, he wasn't taken away from us for too long, but it was still a very unfortunate and scary time for me and my family. The harsh reality is this struggle occurs in many families, not just mine. I was young and at the time didn't understand why my dad was missing. My mom did a good job holding our family together. She didn't want us to notice or remember his absence as much. My mom still tucked me into bed, fed us, and always made sure that me and my siblings were okay. But no matter what she did, it was still a scary time. I don't think it's right to keep people from having opportunities in this country. The quotes, free country and land of opportunities make the USA sound perfect, but it's not. Immigration laws need to change so that people who wouldn't be able to accomplish the life that they want for themselves and their children in other parts of the world can achieve that here. Some states are beginning to change the laws, but more work needs to be done. I believe even more immigration laws can be changed to make it easier for families to realize their American dreams. First, we have to fix a problem around paperwork, like getting work permits. This issue includes people applying and paying for work permits to be in this country legally. This doesn't sound too bad, but the problem is when work papers and permits are delayed, it causes multiple issues, sometimes even leading to arrest or deportation. The second big change we need to make around paperwork is with driver's license. Did you know that in order for an immigrant to have a driver's license, they must first have a work permit? On top of that, in most states, immigrants have to renew their license every year, whereas US citizens only have to renew their license every 5 years. This isn't fair. If paperwork is delayed, people cannot receive their work permits, which means they cannot work, have a driver's license, or stay in this country legally. This obviously makes it difficult for families, because if they cannot get from point A to point B, they won't be able to get to work, get to school, succeed, or be able to get the help they may need. Although the amount of immigrants being deported yearly is decreasing, between the years 2017 and 2020, over 180,000 immigrants were removed from the US. In 2017, the highest number was 295,000 immigrants deported, sometimes due to simple paperwork issues. Those numbers are absurd. So what can we do? We need to make this a land of opportunities. We need to keep making changes and have fair laws for everyone, so that no other 4-year-old ever has to wake up to what I woke up to that morning. Thank you.
Next up, we have Tori with his speech, Who I Am.
Where are you from? What are you? What ethnicity are you? These are common questions asked to a multitude of people. We all got different answers. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm Japanese. I'm Senegalese. But me? Mine varies. See, I'm half Swedish, half Korean. An uncommon mix. So when I'm posed this question, I never know which side of myself I truthfully align with. I'm not the only one with this problem, though. Over 33 million Americans are biracial. Only 10 million identify as such? That's 10% of the population, and most of them don't have a clue who they are. During winter break of 2019, I traveled all the way to Los Angeles for a family reunion. I was looking forward to it. I don't got a lot of contact with my family, especially my second cousins. So it's an exciting opportunity for the kid. But as soon as I walked in, I felt alienated. I'm only 12, but I'm the tallest in the room. My skin's a little thinner than everyone else, and I talk a little differently too. The side-eye glances and glares are screaming up, who is this kid? What is he doing here? Does he even belong here? I didn't feel like the black sheep of the family that day. I felt like a purple frog instead. It made me realize that being mixed is a blessing and a curse. You get the beauty of mixing two vastly different cultures together into one. It is hard. It is really hard. But you figure it out, you might know who you are. You get the setback. When you finally figure out who you are, you're told you're not enough, that you are lesser, that 50% of you counts as zero. It's not my fault that other Asians feel suspicious of me just because I'm half. It's not my fault society treats me as lesser just because I'm half. I shouldn't feel like I'm not an equal in my own family just because I'm half. I try to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, us biracial people, we got our inspirations. Look at Kamala Harris, current VP of our nation. When I tell you to think of Kamala Harris, you think she's the perfect justification for biracial integration. Naomi Osaka, highest paid female athlete in the world, but yet she's gone through the same stuff as me, the kid at Newton North. She played a tennis match against another Japanese player, and during that match, that Japanese player called Naomi that black girl. How's she supposed to feel about that? That's her own people, right? Henry Golding, starred in one of my favorite movies of all time, Crazy Rich Asians. When he got that role, he was told he wasn't Asian enough, just because he was half. When I went to the theaters and saw that movie 3 times, I didn't think he wasn't Asian enough. I saw it as an inspiration to all Asians out there. But yet, they still treat us as lesser. There's words in Native Hawaiian and Japanese for people like me. We're too Asian for the white kids, too white for the Asians. They tell me one half of me is nothing. What is 2 halves of me then? Who am I? So for the concerns I brought up today, I urge all of you in this room to help me and others build a better future for the next generation of kids, without forgetting the mixed kids. Because we go through stuff too. We got problems too, but no one talks about it. In the end, I think I figure out who I am. I'm Swedish, I'm Korean, and I'm 100% me. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Jay Sapitska with his speech, Just a Minute.
I'm about to give a short speech, right? It's only 3 minutes. If the average US lifespan of 79 years amounts to 41,522,400 minutes, do mere 3 even matter? 41.5 million minutes might seem like forever. 41.5 million is a huge number, right? But for an example of that number in context, the projected tax revenue for just this year in Newton alone is well over 10 times that amount. There are 10 times more tax dollars paid in one city in 1 year than there will be minutes in your entire lifetime. Does that scare you at all? Now, obviously, you don't know how much time you'll have. And even if you did, each passing minute isn't going to feel the same. As Einstein famously pointed out, time is relative, based on your frame of reference. True not only in physics, but in everyday life as well. Everyday relativity means that 2 minutes spent in a plank might feel like 60, while 60 minutes spent with your best friend might feel like just 2. So time for us is finite, and time for us is relative. Taking those 2 facts into account, how much is our time worth? Humans have no power over time. We claim to be able to kill, pass, or make it, but once our time is up, we're not going to make more. We can't actually manipulate time, so our time should be worth everything to us. But as proclaimed by an immortal dwarf in Natalie Babbitt's book, The Search for Delicious, people are so foolish. They waste their time. They waste their time, even though they have so little of it. This quote has stuck with me ever since I heard it in 2nd grade, and it forced me to wonder, is the dwarf right about human time management? Take a minute and think about what you've done in the past week. Did you get to do things you enjoyed and wanted to do? Was what you did worth your time? An average human lifespan only has around 4,120 weeks in it, and whatever you did last week used up one of them. Does that distress you? It doesn't need to. With the right mindset, that stress can create a feeling of eustress, which is when pressure results in motivation and adrenaline. Instead of our limited time limiting us, it can motivate us to try new things, live in the moment, and give our lives meaning. Personally, this mindset has encouraged me to live boldly and do things I used to be too scared to do. From first getting on a skateboard, to coming out as transgender to my family, to now changing my name. Knowing that I only have so much time in my life, I strive to make each minute count. Going back to the words of Einstein, time is relative. Its only worth depends upon what we do as it is passing. So make your time worth it. Live knowing that your clock is ticking, so there's never as good a time as now to seize the moment. 41.5 million minutes. Thanks for giving me 3.
Our next speaker is Orlando Christian with his speech, Disconnect.
Before I moved to Newton, I was told it was very diverse and progressive. But after attending Newton North, it became harder for me to fully believe this. Did you know that less than 40% of students at Newton North identify as people of color? And of the 2,073 students at this school, only 6% identify as black. That's only about 125 students out of the thousands of students at this school. I'd like to explore how North and Newton as a city is excluding the black community. In the 2016-2017 Youth Risk Behavior Surveys for the Newton Public Schools, it was made clear that black students did not feel connected to their schools in the same way white students did. Only 35% of black students agreed or strongly agreed with the statement, "I feel like I am a part of this school." In contrast, 65% of white students agreed with this statement. As well as that, only 40% of black students agreed or strongly agreed with the statement, "I feel close to people at this school," a number 31% lower than white students. These were the lowest rates of agreement among all racial and ethnic groups, showing how North is not only not as diverse as people think, but not as inclusive of the black community. Now you may be thinking, 2016, 6 years ago, can't be the same today. Well, unfortunately, black students in 2018-2019 focus groups conducted to find the reasons for the disconnect between black students and their schools. Almost all black students stated that microaggressions were an ongoing issue that hurt their feelings of equal membership in their school. Not only that, but many black students felt as though they were not held to the same standard as their white classmates. One student went as far as to say, "I feel like in Newton, there are low expectations for black students, a low bar for black students. I feel like at this school, black students have to have high expectations for themselves." As well as feeling disconnected, many black students felt disrespected by their teachers and fellow classmates. Students noticed insensitive comments from teachers, such as "you are so articulate," or "wow," using random things to their race. Students also noted a very large imbalance of race in their classroom. And I can personally relate to this, as I have 2 classes where I'm the only black student. Now, I've only lived here for a couple of years. I lived in California for 14, and not once did I hear a white person say the N-word. It was not until I moved to Newton and started to attend Newton North that I heard this. And sometimes they say it as if I can't hear them, or as if it's okay. They say it as if it hasn't been used to oppress people who look like me for hundreds of years. Not only was it once I moved to Newton that I heard this, but only after I had moved to Newton. I was called a nigger by a white person, meaning to cause me pain, outside my own home. To people who live in Newton, it's considered different. People say it's so great and progressive, but it's not until you look in from the outside and reflect that one truly sees how far we have left to go. If I could leave you with one thing today, I'd like to ask you to include your Black friends and make them feel like Newton and North as a community is somewhere they feel safe and welcome. Thank you.
Okay, our final speaker is Mayanne Rosenbaum with her speech, 2.5 hours.
Hi guys, I'm Mayanne. Thanks so much for coming today. 2.5 hours. To read aloud the names of the 336 lives lost in school shootings since only 2013 would take a little more than 2.5 hours. That's 50 times the length of this speech. It's no secret that gun violence is everywhere. I knew what an armed intruder drill was before I knew how babies were made. School shootings are a mental health crisis, an economic nightmare, and a public health and safety epidemic ravaging our country. Did you know that CNN expects 2022 to be the second worst year for school shootings in the history of the world? Or that every year, the number of kids at North and South combined will be shot and killed, leaving another 15,000 injured? Yet gun laws in this country are laughable. Regulations made for weapons of the 1700s have been carelessly applied to modern firearms designed to kill as many people as quickly as possible. I could continue to pelt you with statistics. How Sandy Hook Promise states that in this country, guns are the leading cause of death among children and teens, or how Everytown Research Organization found that an estimated 4.6 million American children live in a home where at least one gun is kept loaded and unlocked. Instead, I will tell you a story. My cousin Miriam is our age. She's a great basketball player and one of the funniest people I know. She also goes to the Edmund Burke School, which earlier this year was the target of a 100-round sniper attack. Although its lack of fatalities may have been enough to keep it out of teen media, its aftermath was horrific. I didn't want to go to school, Miriam says. It made me think differently. It made me scared to go places. I felt like it would happen again. Months after the shooting, Miriam says she still thinks about it daily. Sometimes she's triggered by loud noises or gun violence in the news. Miriam is not alone. Countless kids live the exact same way. While it is simpler to use a list of casualties to determine how many have suffered, the number of victims will never be just those hurt physically. Mia Cerrillo, survivor of the Uvalde Elementary School massacre, describes not being able to sleep, closing her eyes and seeing the bodies. In talking with CNN, the 11-year-old girl was too frightened to speak with a male interviewer and hid beneath a blanket despite the Texas summer heat. 2 survivors of the Parkland shooting have taken their own lives, unable to cope with the trauma and survivor's guilt. And the enormous expenses of medical care, loss of income, and criminal justice means that gun violence costs the United States an average of $229 billion per year. If mass shootings are clearly a detriment to every aspect of our well-being, why is nothing changing? Why is our right to live less important than the right to own an assault rifle? Why am I scared to go to school? If someone in your life has a gun, please ask them to practice safe firearm storage. If you know somebody struggling with suicidal or homicidal thoughts, share your concerns with a trusted adult to help them get the care they need. Above all, I beg you to vote in local, statewide, and national elections the moment you become eligible. The law is meant to protect us, and it's high time it does just that. To read aloud a list of lives lost to school shootings since 2013 would take 2.5 hours. How long will it take tomorrow, in a month, next year? How many more kids like me will stand on a stage having to beg for their safety? Don't wait for change until you know names on that list. Don't stay silent long enough for that list to include you. Thank you.
give another round of applause for these amazing. And now I want to introduce our class representatives. They too are going to come up and share their names, the title of their speeches, and a little snapshot so you get a sense of the flavor of what they wrote about, but also just the wide variety of the passionate subjects that were part of all of these speeches and the bravery that it took to dig deep and find a way to express their truth.
Hi, my name is Madeline Metro, and I wrote this speech, You Only Live Once, about how our mindset can make or break our mental health. I wrote this speech because I noticed so many people near me struggling with mental health, and they have absolutely no idea where it's coming from. My call to action was that if we change our mindset, we could change the issues that we have as individuals, and we could eliminate the problems that our generation faces. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Karen Huang, and the title of my speech is Where Does Your Comfort Zone End? As a member of the swim team, I thought I would die the day we were required to swim the 500, a continuous 20 lengths of the pool. I've been pushed as far out of my comfort zone as the distance between the Arctic and Antarctica. But I survived the 500, and more importantly, I realized that taking a step out of your comfort zone leads to the most unforgettable human experiences. Instead of focusing on fear, are you willing to befriend the place where your comfort zone ends?
Hi, I'm Anahita Kamali, and my speech is titled Woman Like Freedom. It is about the ongoing protests in Iran regarding the death of Mahsa Amini and the oppressive regime. I wrote this speech because Iran's situation is not getting the attention it needs. And as citizens of the free world, we have a responsibility to represent and back up Iranians. I hope to empower you all to use social media and education to amplify the news, raise awareness, and keep Iran in the spotlight. Thank you.
What's good, everyone? My name is Juan. My speech is titled Pixel Addiction. I decided to write about the dangers of social media and the negative effects it has on our mental health. So many of us are addicted to social media, so I just want to bring to life the negative effects it has on our minds so that y'all might start using it less.
My name is Lucy Smith. The title of my speech is Inherent Right. I wrote about the objectification of young women and how it enables sexual violence and abuse. I also wrote about how mainstream media exemplifies objectification. My call to action is to speak out against this behavior and to be aware of the media we consume.
My name is Priscilla Situ, and the title of my speech is The Male Gaze is Everywhere. My speech is about the male gaze, a theory that refers to how the media can objectify and sexualize women. When I first learned about this theory, I was shocked how much it appeared in our everyday media, such as books, our favorite princess movies, and even Renaissance art. Consequently, this can influence our social encounters and mental health. My call to action is to spot when the media objectifies women to target the male audience.
Hello, my name is Emma Cohane, and my speech is titled Alarmism, Modern Media's Biggest Threat. I wrote about the dangers of over-exaggeration of negative news. I wrote about this topic because I had noticed that the mental health of my peers was struggling just because they were staying informed and keeping up with the news. In a time where it's never been easier or more important to stay informed, it's our responsibility as teens to keep the news accurate and without fear. Thank you.
What's up, guys? I'm Henry Greenwald. My speech is called Who's Going to Solve That? And it's about reframing education away from the memorization of facts and towards problem-based methods of teaching so that our generation can solve the many crises we face.
Hi, my name is Oliver Ryerson, and the title of my speech was called Alcoholism Awareness. Basically, I just wanted to bring awareness to how addictive alcohol can really be. Like, as much as illegal drugs, since it's not illegal, it's often overlooked. And I also wanted to explain how to avoid addiction and also how to overcome it if it does ever become a problem for you or anyone that's close to you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Annika, and my speech was called Fitting In versus Belonging. It was about the pressure that teenagers and high school students face to fit in with a certain paradigm or like change who they are in order to be accepted. And as a person of color, I've had a lot of experience with this, and that's why I chose to write about it. So yeah, thanks.
Hi guys, I'm Leon Schultz, and my title of my speech was Boys Don't Cry. I wrote this because throughout my life, even in the recent past, there's been a lot of people I know who have even debated suicide, and it hurt me a lot because these are people that, you know, I've known for most of my life, and it feels like it doesn't get the attention it deserves of how boys feel with their mental health and what it means to be a man in a sense. And I felt that this is a problem that needs to be addressed, and definitely that therapy, counseling, or even just talking to someone, talking about your issues, talking about your problems, talking about how you feel inside can change so much for people. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Gabino Talisayan. I'm representing Miss Fishner's A Block class. Yeah, let's go. And the title of my speech is You're a Failure. I myself have had many experiences of failure, rejection, and inadequacy. And while for all of us, these experiences are initially painful and humiliating, I explain in my speech how they are absolutely essential for us in order to improve ourselves and achieve success.
Hi, my name is Savannah Bond, and my speech is called Diffusing Hate. The focus we give to hate incidents, especially swastikas, simply elevates their power. The swastika for thousands of years was used as a positive sign. That positivity has been swept away in the past 100 years. However, if when swastikas are used, or other hate incidents, we focus on a positive, such as an important Jewish figure, and not on the hate itself, we can bring a more uplifting message from use of the swastika and take the power away from the hate. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lila, and the title of my speech is The Power of Confidence. I wrote about the impact of confidence on your mental health and why it is important to increase your own self-confidence. I chose to write about confidence because I think it is something many of us struggle with, myself included. So it is important to find ways to promote it within ourselves as well as for our peers. I believe the easiest way to do this is by giving people more compliments, a practice proven to boost confidence for the person receiving one as well as the person who gave it. I challenge you all to give someone a compliment today. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dea, and my speech is called Model Behavior. I wrote about the importance of role models and how who you choose to look up to now can define who you become later in life. How emulating someone with a fixed mindset can spiral you into a dangerous lifestyle. How you can achieve success by choosing a role model who promotes integrity and responsibility. It's important to understand that the decisions that you will make today will shape tomorrow's legacy. I encourage you all to think of someone that you look up to, someone who inspires you. I want you to identify the traits you see in this person and really think, are they the same ones that you want to see in yourself down the line? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Emily McGarvey, and I wrote my speech. It's called Go to School, and I wrote it to bring awareness to kids who struggle with going to school and give them something to relate to.
Wow, these were totally amazing. Can we give everyone a round of applause? say, particularly this year, I'm inspired by all of your call to action. That is great leadership. I'm so proud of all of you for all the hard work that you did in English department. Thank you again for, I know this is hard work on your behalf, for everything you did to get this back post-pandemic. Well, thank you very much, audience. You did a great job. Parents, family members who are here, I want to invite you up to 359. We're going to have a reception to celebrate the recipients up here. Thank you all. Have a great Friday.
I'm low-key trying to hop over this thing right here. Yo, show that I belong here. Show it to me. We have two people on, and I have third one. Hell, imagine you're with a bunch of freshmen. But do you, so you just walk around during freshman? Just sit there and just be quiet. You need to talk more. You can't think about it. You're a little man. We had a homework? What's the study? Right? Oh. I don't know. I didn't do it. Either way, whatever. I'm 9 of the teacher was just too like removed. Same English class, right? No, same time. Daddy on me. Yeah. No, the speech is African. Okay, what? Yeah, no, S, obviously, no, not S here. W.